Hi everyone, welcome back. Today our sequence is integrating yoga mudras into our practice. So remember, yoga mudras is yoga for your hands. We intentionally bring our hands into different formations just as we do with our body to help the subtle body and the mind be able to clear up some pathways and blockages that may be within us, either due to experiences or emotions or unresolved issues. And it allows us to connect a little bit deeper to what's going on inside of us. So we will, like I said, take those yoga mudras as we move through practice in this sequence, and we'll implement them to try and help us become a little bit better, a little more well-rounded and balanced. So to begin today, we're going to once again start in a comfortable seated position. Again, like I always say, whatever that is for you. For me, it's easy seated pose. For some of you, it's legs extended. Maybe for some of you, it's butterfly. I came to the edge of a prop. I suggest perhaps you do the same, just to get those hips up a little bit higher, allowing the hips and the knees to relax once you get there. So once you're sitting in that comfortable seated position, let's start by bringing the backs of the hands down to the lap. And we'll bring the palms face up, and before we come into that mudra, let's just get ourselves centered on our mat. So go ahead, close your eyes, and begin taking a couple full deep breaths. Excuse me. All right, we've taken our couple initial full deep breaths. Now let's work on bringing that breath a little deeper, and as we do so, we will come into our first yoga mudra. So we'll bring the tip of our ring finger and the tip of our thumb together on both hands. So ring finger and thumb come together. Back of the hand still rests on the lap, palms are face up. With the ring finger and thumb touching, all other fingers are just extended out. You don't have to hold them really straight. You can kind of just let them naturally curl. And again, bringing the backs of the hands down to the lap with the eyes closed. Let's work on deepening the breath. Different fingers are said to represent different elements. And when we bring a certain finger into contact with the thumb, which is the fire element, so it ignites, that particular element can be brought into balance. If you're feeling a little ungrounded, overwhelmed, or fatigued, then this mudra we're in right now will help balance your earth energy and help you to feel strong and settled again. Remember that the intention behind each mudra is as important as the physical gesture itself. So when practicing this, breathe calmly and deeply and focus on the sense of feeling supported. So as you continue to focus on deepening your breath here, also allow that feeling of supportedness, of helping you feel grounded and rooted. Allow those feelings and intentions to also swirl about your body as you deepen your breath. Make sure that you are trying to lengthen your breath by inhaling through the tip of the nose and allowing that breath to pass as deeply into your body as it can. With a slow and steady exhale, fully release all of that air. And then when you're ready, inhale, drawing it in again, creating some new pathways for that breath, some new depths for the breath to pass through. Allowing the body and the respiratory system to cleanse anything that may have become stagnant or toxic, Just allowing this breath to nourish your body as we prepare for practice. Let's go ahead and just take 5 more full deep breaths here, really taking this time to try and steady that breath, to find the breath as deep as we can, and to begin quieting any of the other chatter going on in the mind, and allowing ourselves to be fully present right here on our mat as we prepare for our class. Taking your time to get there, when you reach the end of your 5th exhale, you can slowly release that yoga mudra and allow yourself to sit for a moment and notice the benefits of finding that slow, steady breath while holding that mudra that will help us feel grounded, rooted, and supported. If it feels particularly good to continue observing the body after our breathing practice, you can stay here and continue to observe. It's important to tune in to what's happening. If you'd like, though, to keep with our routine, you can also begin a full body scan here, of course, beginning at the crown of the head and working your way down to the soles of your feet to tune in and see how you're feeling as you come onto your mat. So finding your way through, stopping at every nook and cranny just to see how you're feeling today. Perhaps leaving a mental post-it note on any of those areas that feel tight, that feel achy or are in pain, and making sure that as we take note of those when we move through practice, we move with awareness and mindfulness that those are areas that might need a little bit of ease, they may need a little bit of getting into, allowing ourselves to stay humble each time we come onto our mat. Whenever you've completed your full body scan, if you've chosen to do so, we will collectively take 3 more cycles of breath. Let's use this breath to cleanse the body as we will begin to move into our sequence. So taking a nice big inhale. When you're ready, open mouth and sigh it out. Good. Inhaling through the nose, using this breathing exercise here to purify and cleanse the breath. Open mouth, exhale out. One last time on your own. Good. When you're ready, let's slowly move off of our prop. Our first pose to warm up the body is going to be hero's pose, and for a lot of us, we need to use a prop to get into hero's pose. So don't move that prop too far away. Remember, hero's pose, we draw the insides of the thighs together, and here's where we maybe take a prop on any of those 3 heights to give us a little bit of support, bringing that ground up to us. Focus here as we internally rotate the thighs is to begin opening up those quads, finding a little bit of stretch through the knees, and even for some of you, maybe in the ankles as well. Stay here for as long as you can. I know that coming into this pose after not practicing yoga or hero's pose for a while can be really challenging. So listen to your body, and if your body's saying I've had enough of hero's pose, then come back down to a seated position so that you can still follow along with what we're doing with the upper body. If it is tolerable, then try and stay here as long as you can. From here, let's practice some shoulder drops. So let's release any tension, anything that we're hiking up in the neck, in the shoulders, and the upper back. So with an inhale, we'll lift the shoulders up. And with an exhale, let them drop quickly. Good. Again, inhale. Exhale, drop quickly. A couple more times. Make sure the breath guides the movement. One more time. Really release on that exhale. Good. Now with the arms still down by our side, we're going to find slow arm rotations up and down. So flip those palms and inhale the arms out. With a full inhale and up. Framing the head. Exhale. Flip those hands. Slow, steady exhale. Bringing the arms out and down. When you're ready to inhale, drawing up. And exhale, pushing down. Two more times. Move with your breath. Allow this physical posture to give you opportunities to bring more breath into the body, into the torso, particularly deeply into the diaphragm. Once you've completed that second cycle, let's slowly come off of our prop from wherever we're at. If you're in hero's pose, you'll stay on your knees, and if you're not, then go ahead and come onto your knees. Let's tuck our toes underneath and continue to bring those legs together. If it's comfortable, we'll come up onto our knees. We want to use this pose, camel pose, to open up the front body. So everything from the shoulders all the way down to the hips. So we'll take our hands and we'll place them in our invisible back pockets behind us. And then use those hands to encourage the hips forward, draw the elbows together, and if it's comfortable, gently release the head back to open up the throat. Find a couple of deep breaths here in camel pose. If camel pose feels really good to you and you'd like to take it a step further, you always have the option to take your hands and drop them down to the heels, continuing to press those hips forward. Find that opening in the front body. One more deep breath. Good, gently release. Let's swing around and come into tabletop pose. From tabletop, we'll line ourselves up with our wrists under our shoulders and our knees under our hips. We'll take a nice big inhale together. And with our exhale, drop the tailbone towards the heel, chin to the chest, rounding in the back. On your inhale, lift the tailbone, lift the crown of the head, and drop the belly down. Exhale, rounding through cat. Inhale, lifting in cow. Now continue with the flow of your breath. Just gently stretching out the back, playing with the flexibility in your spine, and linking your breath to movement. A lot of our focus in our practice today is on those hands. So maybe draw your attention into those hands as we come into a familiar pose here with cat and cow. Feel how you use those muscles in your hand to ground you, to guide you, to help you find a deeper expression of each pose. The hands play a very critical role in the majority of poses that we do, even if they're not the foundation of the pose. So as we slowly move through practice today, draw the attention into the hands, see the role that they play, how much we rely on them, their strength, their stability, to help us get in and out of our poses, and to help us deepen the expression of those poses. We'll find 2 more cats and 2 more cows. At the end of that second round, we'll go ahead, separate the knees, bringing the big toes together, sink those hips back, reach the arms forward, and find yourself into child's pose. As you settle in child's pose, I'll explain a little bit more about our mudra. So mudra means seal, gesture, or mark. Yoga mudras are symbolic gestures often practiced with the hands and fingers. They facilitate the flow of energy into the subtle body and enhance one's journey within. Our hands are central to the way we interact with the world around us. They're one of the key ways in which we communicate with each person we meet on a daily basis. From the ancient origins of palmistry in India more than 5,000 years ago, with fortune tellers studying open palms, this mystical science spread to Tibet, Persia, China. Palm reading is still traditionally used in these cultures today, but modern-day handshakes finalizing business deals, peace signs, thumbs up, a comforting pat on the back, and the simple act of waving show that we have always had a strong inclination to use hands as a meaningful way. Mudras are gestures or symbols intended to direct awareness and subtle energy and create changes on a physical and cryptic level. Primarily based in Ayurveda, often known as the sister science of yoga, these mudras are intended to balance and harmonize, to unblock and unleash important and powerful effects. The intention behind the mudra matters as much as the physical hand positioning itself. So be clear about how and why you are aiming to change your energy and set your intention before practicing. Just as we take time to practice physical yoga postures and to still ourselves in meditation, mudras are worth taking time to work with and can help us realize what the body and mind need and how we have the power to change how we feel whenever we want to. So let's take 2 more deep breaths here, restoring in child's pose. At the end of that second exhale, it slowly shifts the weight into our hands. Tuck our toes under. And lift those hips up nice and high, finding our first down dog. Walking your dog here, stretching and shaking through. Good. Take one more deep breath, lifting those hips extra high. And when you're ready, bend the knees, travel up to the top of your mat. Once you get there, we'll meet in in standing forward fold. Stretching through the backs of the legs, allowing the head and neck to hang heavy. Finding movement or stillness, whatever suits you during this practice. When you're ready, place your hands on your shins and inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. One more time. Inhale, lift halfway. Make sure you're looking at the floor in front of you. Exhale, fold. And this time, inhale, lift all the way, arms reaching out and up. Looking at those hands to meet at the top. And then exhale, drawing the hands down in front of the heart. Good. Let's stand tall here in mountain pose. You can leave your hands together at your heart for the moment. Make sure that you're rooted equally between both feet, and you can go ahead and close your eyes. Standing tall here, thinking about all surface area of our feet that is connected with the earth. Drawing that energy from the earth up through the feet, finding strength and energy in the legs with kneecaps lifted and quads engaged. Helping the tailbone find alignment as we find a gentle curve down with the tailbone, allowing the navel to draw in and the pelvis to be in a neutral alignment. A nice long spine allows the shoulder blades to plug into the back and the shoulder points to stay away from the ears. A little length in the back of that neck, a slight tuck of the chin, and softness throughout the face. Softness in the jaw, softness behind the eyes. A very harmonious pose, strength and tranquility. And let's enhance this pose just slightly further. So with your hands in front of your heart, you're going to spin your hands so that the palm and your fingertips are pointing towards one another. If it helps, maybe open your eyes and look at the screen. And then we're going to go ahead and link our fingertips towards the base of the finger on the other hand. Let me get a little closer. So it's going to look like this, okay? So once you get your hands into that position, this is called Ganesh Mudra. So we're holding our left hand in front of our chest, palm facing out, and then those left fingers hook with the right to form a lock with the back of the right hand facing out. Standing here nice and tall in mountain pose with that Ganesh Mudra. Ganesh is the celebrated elephant deity, said to be the remover of obstacles and patron of letter writing and learning. It's common to invoke Ganesh before an important journey or event, or to give some thought when we're looking to overcome one of life's many obstacles. Ganesh is also known to place obstacles in front of us in order to help us learn and grow too. You might notice this with the one hand positioning of the mudra. The hands are interlocked in front of the chest, representing both obstacles we meet, but also the strength we hold within to overcome them. So thinking about the power behind this mudra, we'll take a couple of rounds of breath here to set your own personal intention. As we know, it's important to keep that intention locked in as we hold these mudras and breathe. Good. Let's just take 2 more deep breaths here. At the end of that second exhale, once again, we'll release that mudra, maybe bringing your hands down by your side. Let's stay in mountain pose for a couple cycles of breath to observe how that mudra has left an impact on us. All right, when you're ready, we are standing at the top of our mat, and let's begin to find some movement to warm that body. When you're ready, inhale, draw those arms out and up. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold, sending those feet back in plank. With your exhale, lower through plank. Inhale, lift in cobra. And exhale, tuck the toes, send the feet up high. 2 deep breaths in down dog. At the end of your second exhale, bending your knees, traveling up to the top of your mat. Inhaling, lifting halfway when you get there. Exhaling to fold. Inhaling, rise, arms reaching out and up. And exhale, hands in front of the heart. One more time together. Inhale, drawing the arms out and up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to lift halfway. Exhale to fold. Send the feet back through plank. Slowly lower through chaturanga. Inhale, lift in cobra. Exhale, tucking the toes. 2 deep breaths in down dog. At the end of that second exhale, bending the knees, traveling up to the top of your mat. Inhale, lift halfway when you get there. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, arms sweeping out and up. Exhale, hands in front of your hearts. One more time, moving with your breath, we'll meet in fountain pose. All right. When you're ready to hit these peak poses with me, you can join. So we're at the top of our mat. These are all poses that we're familiar with. We're just incorporating the elements of the yoga mudra into these poses. So when you're ready at the top of your mat, inhale, draw your arms out and up. And then exhale, fold forward. From this forward fold, let's send the right leg back to begin. And we'll go ahead, you can drop that right knee down on your mat, or you can keep it lifted. I'm going to practice with the knee lowered onto the mat. Double that mat up or throw a blanket underneath. And when you're ready, inhale, lift. Let's start with those arms framing the head. So a nice low lunge here. We feel a good opening in that front right hip flexor. We work to get the hips nice and square, so maybe pulling that left hip back slightly, the right hip forward. And now let's come into Kali Mudra, which we've done before. So we'll place the hands together, palms together. We'll go ahead and interlace the pinky ring and middle finger. We'll allow that pointer finger to stay up. And then we'll cross our thumbs, placing our left thumb over the right thumb. From here, we can point up or we can point in front of us. Kali is a fierce goddess representing death, destruction, transformation, and ultimately purification. She is all about destroying dark and evil in order to let in the light of good triumph. If you're looking to make changes, destroy some unnecessary baggage, or to find a little more fierce goddess energy to get you through a tough day, Kali is the deity to invoke this mudra. Taking one more deep breath here. Good, and gently release. Let's bring our hands down. We'll bring that left heel down, and we'll point those left fingers up now, stretching through the back of our left leg. Taking a prop maybe underneath the hands if you need that earth to come up a little bit higher to you. Try and rotate the pinky toe so it faces towards the heart. One more deep breath here. Good, and gently coming forward. Now we will all tuck the right toe, and we'll come off of that right knee, and we're going to come into leaning lunge with the option to come to warrior three. So when you're ready, let's come into that low lunge. Come back into that Kali Mudra. Remember, left thumb crosses over right. And now we come into leaning lunge by having a nice line of energy from our fingertips down to that right heel. Again, we can stay here in leaning lunge, keeping the core engaged, or we can begin transferring the weight off of that right foot and finding warrior three for a couple of deep breaths. When you're ready to release, we'll all bring the right foot up to meet left and standing forward fold at the top of our mat. Good. When you're ready, place your hands on your shins and inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, bending the knees. Now let's send that the left leg back. The left knee comes down onto the mat if you'd like. When you're ready, inhale, draw those arms up. Find that Kali Mudra once again. And settle here, breathing into the stretch. Good, gently release. And once again, now we'll bring the heel of the right foot down, and we'll find a good stretch to the back of that right hamstring. One more breath into the back of that right leg. Good, and then we'll rotate forward, tucking those left toes. Now, once again, coming into high lunge with that yoga mudra. Stay here, coming into leaning lunge, or lifting into warrior three. We'll all take 3 deep breaths. Good, gently release wherever you're at. Send the left foot up to meet right and standing forward fold. And when you're ready now, let's swap that right foot back. This time, once again, we'll lower the right leg down and we'll inhale, lift. We won't come into that Kali Mudra. We're going to bring our hands together in front of our hearts. You're going to take your right hand, since our right leg is down, and you're going to make a fist. And then you're going to wrap your left hand around it. So right hand is in a fist, left hand gets wrapped around it. We're going to take this right elbow, we're going to hook it to the outside of the left leg, finding a low lunge twist. So inhale, lengthen your spine, and exhale, twist. Trying to draw the heart towards the hands. One more deep breath. And gently release. From here, go ahead, use the hands for support. We're going to come onto or off of that right leg, but we're going to bring the right foot down at a 45-degree angle. And when you're ready, inhale, lift in warrior one. So find a nice bend in that front left leg. That right leg is full of energy. The foot is at a 45-degree angle. And then we're going to take our hands and come into what is the most commonly used mudra, chin mudra or Gyan mudra. We'll take the tip of the thumb and the tip of the index finger and bring it to touch overhead in a strong warrior one pose. This mudra increases concentration, creativity, and is a gesture of knowledge. Make sure to keep your palms facing towards one another when feeling receptive, or rest them away from one another, perhaps on your leg, to help you feel more grounded. Concentration, creativity, and a gesture of knowledge. One more cycle of breath. Good. Gently release, framing that front left foot. Let's just make a swap. We'll send left foot back to meet right, right foot forward, coming down to that left knee, coming up in low lunge. Now with the left leg down, we'll take the left hand and make a fist. We'll wrap the right hand around it, and now we're aiming to get that left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Taking a nice big inhale, and exhale, twist. Again, trying to draw that heart towards the hands, breathing in our twist. Last deep breath, and gently release. Now, as we frame that front right foot, we wiggle the left foot down to a 45-degree angle, and we inhale, lift. Warrior one on the second side. Remember our hips, we should be working to square them up with whatever is in front of us, not allowing those hips to come at an angle. And if it's not accessible, then we separate the distance between our feet laterally. Once again, coming into that chin mudra with the tip of the thumb, touching the tip of the index finger, other three fingers extended, palms facing towards one another to be receptive to what this pose and this mudra has to offer. Full deep breaths. Last cycle of breath here. Go ahead and fold forward. Frame that front right foot. Now from here, we're going to go ahead and come into pigeon. So let's use our front right foot since it's there as the first side. So bending through that right knee, placing the outside of that right shin down. Go ahead, extend that left leg behind you, check over the right shoulder. Yep, everything looks nice and straight. And then you can stay upright, or you can begin to come down onto your forearms, maybe resting the head down. We'll stay here for 10 cycles of breath so we can really get into the outer hip muscles. Moving at your pace. Once you get to the end of that 10th exhale, you'll go ahead and root the hands into the mat. From here, let's switch the legs out. So we transition with some movement into that right hip. And once we're feeling good, then we'll send the left leg up. Left knee towards that left wrist, extending the right leg behind us, looking over that left shoulder, making sure that everything is nice and straight. Coming down to the forearms, maybe they're resting the head down. 10 cycles of breath now on the second side. Again, taking your time to get there. Once you reach the end of your 10th exhale, you'll slowly make your way up. Finding movement now into that left leg. And then let's come down to a seated position. Grab that block, but come all the way down to your seat. One more time, we're going to focus on those outer hip muscles. So from here, let's use the left leg as our, actually we just did our left leg. Let's use our right leg to stretch first. So we'll use the left leg as a foundation. We'll use the front of the mat to parallel our shin width. And once the shin is parallel, flex that left foot. And now we'll take the right foot. We'll stand ankle on knee and knee on ankle, making sure the feet stay flexed the entire time. And here, if there's as much of a gap between your knee and your ankle as I have, maybe use a block or a pillow to help you encourage that space to not feel so uncomfortable. Remember, that gap just means a lot of tightness in the hips, and that's what this pose and pigeon pose will help us work towards. So once you get yourself to a tolerable place, we're going to come into our second to last mudra, which is our prana mudra. So we'll take the tip of the ring and little fingers to each thumb and let the index and the middle fingers extend away. Again, let's place the backs of the hands onto the lap as comfortably as is possible. And here, if you can take this pose deeper, what you'll do is begin to forward fold. And for those of us who are not able to, because we still have quite a bit of space in between, then we'll just continue to work with what we have by sitting up nice and straight and slowly letting the breath trickle into that outer right hip. So prana mudra, referred to as life force and sometimes breath, prana can be understood as the breath of life, the energy behind everything that exists in the universe. Something that is full of vitality, life, and health may be said to be full of prana, and developing a way to build and contain prana is an important part of yoga practice. When you're feeling low in energy or your meditation practice is focused upon building vitality and energy, this is the mudra to help and to use in order to enhance a sense of aliveness. So understanding what this mudra is intended to do, now closing our eyes and setting our own intentions as we sit and open up that right hip with our prana mudra. You can stay right where you are with the eyes closed and the body still. We're going to slowly transition into the second side so that we can open up the muscles in the outer left hip. So we'll take that, we can remove the mudra for a moment. We can take that right leg off, unstack it, and now bring the right leg down as the base, paralleling the shin, flexing the foot, and stacking left leg on top of right, ankle over knee, knee over ankle, sitting nice and tall. Let's return with a prop if we need it, and then bring back that prana mudra. Tip of the pinky and tip of the ring finger touching the thumb, middle and pointer fingers extended, sitting tall, working our way through the stretch or maybe beginning to fold forward, making sure that everything stays square. So the upper body should be in very symmetrical alignment. And the upper body, in this case, would include all the way down into the hips. You want to keep the hips nice and square, making those little refinements like we do in pigeon pose to try and deepen the stretch through the outer left hip. When you're ready, slowly release that mudra. Go ahead and find your way out of the square pose, fire log pose. And we'll go ahead and find our way down onto our backs. Once you get to your back, let's draw those knees into the chest. Gently rock from side to side, massaging that lower back. The lower back is particularly sore right now. It might be from that leaning lunge or warrior 3. Remember that when we come into any pose in that positioning where we have such a small foundation underneath us, so with our feet, we have to engage the core. We have to draw that navel in towards the spine to protect the lower back. So it's just something to be mindful of as we move in and out of these poses. Let's hold on to the right leg here and send the left leg down long. And then we'll cross that right leg over the midline, coming into a supine stretch, looking out over those right fingertips for long, smooth breath. Slowly draw that leg back through center. Give the right leg one last squeeze. And swap left leg for right. Making adjustments on our mat to make sure that we are in nice alignment here before we take that left leg into the right hand. Cross it over the body. Looking out over those left fingertips and breathing through the twist. One last deep breath. Come back through center. Either draw both knees in or find a happy baby pose. When you're ready, extend one leg at a time down the mat. Allowing the arms to rest at your side, palms face up. Releasing any final wandering thoughts. Releasing that long, steady breath. Quieting the mind and transcending into our final meditation in Savasana. When you're ready, slowly begin to deepen your breath. Begin to find movement in your fingers and in your toes. Roll in your wrists and in your ankles. Gently nod your head from side to side. And then reach your arms up overhead and find a full body stretch. Bending your knees, gently roll onto the right side of your body, pausing there in the fetal position. Taking this quiet moment to absorb all the positivity that you've cultivated in your practice today. Taking this moment to notice how the body and the mind feel after dedicating an hour of your busy day to yoga. Take this time to come back to something that you know is beneficial and helps you get through your weeks. Go ahead and gently help yourself up to a comfortable seated position where we will close our practice with our final mudra, bringing the palms together in front of our heart, Anjali Mudra. We press the palms lightly together with the thumbs lightly touching the breastbone and the fingers together spread wide. Anjali Mudra, bringing the palms together in front of our heart space, symbolizes honor and respect towards ourselves and towards the universe. This mudra expresses love and gratitude